Hello guys, it is Kamker here, and it's been a long time since I've made a video, but I am going to be making a bunch of videos again, and so this is like my comeback one. The topic for today's video is going to be a really aggressive Terran versus Protoss build order and opening, and then some different follow-ups. It's going to be a 3-rack Stim timing. It's super strong. I've been playing the majority of my games using it as long as the map is okay for it, and I've had really good success with it. I've beat a lot of players with it. It works really good, so I want to share that with you because I know Protoss is always pretty difficult to compete with. Just gotta find a replay real quick. Didn't really set anything up ahead of time. I just kind of knew that I was gonna be making a video. All right. Whew. Oh, I didn't have my sick portrait at the time. I just got that sick portrait. Like if you subscribe to WCS or something like that, you get this cool portrait. So, like I was saying though, the build is it's a Reaper expand into 3 racks. Oh, there's a lot of BM in this game. It's a Reaper expand into 3 racks, and then you do a Stim combat shield timing with roughly 16-ish Marines and 4 Marauders. You follow up by getting some gases, your factory, and an expansion, a 3rd base. And then after your 3rd base, you go up to 5 racks. And then depending if they're going Colossi, you go for another starport. And if they're going for High Templar or not Colossi, basically, you go for Widow Mines. So that's the gist of how everything works out. And now that you know that, I'm just going to show you like the specifics in-game. So it's just a normal, 12 barracks, 12 gas. And if you're not familiar, a lot of people they do their openings like wrong. They kind of do the right opening, but they're not doing all the correct things that will really make a difference. So I'll just sort of walk through also this opening and each and everything you're supposed to do with it. So it's kind of going to be the 3-rack Stim combat shield tutorial. Also just generally how you open correctly versus Protoss. So you're going to want to rally your 13th SCV to scout, and you can just rally it onto their mineral patch. That way it will mineral walk through anything. If there's any obstructions or anything, you'll make sure that it's going to get there. So after that, okay, things get a little complicated with this build. After you mine 52 gas, enough to make a Reaper, you pull 1 guy out of gas. So at 15 supply, you morph your orbital, you make a Reaper, and then you pull 1 guy out of gas, and it should be exactly at 52 gas. And you should see me do that, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. The gas timing in this build is very specific, okay? And then with the scouting SCV, the main thing we're going to want to see is we're going to want to see if it's a gas, 2 gas, or 1 gas. And this is something right away that's going to tell you whether or not you can see this build. The times that you do this build specifically is if he only has 1 gas, okay, everything's fine, you can go ahead with the build. If he has 2 gases, you only go ahead with the build if he only has 2 guys in each. If he has 3 guys in each gas, you don't do the build. You have to go for an eBay around 19 just in case it's DTs or oracles or something like that. But as long as he only has 1 gas or he has 2 gases with only 2 guys in each, you're fine to go ahead for the build. So that's what I check with this. You can see I'm looking here, I see okay, no gas. So after I see no gas, the next order of business is to use this SCV to go down and block as long as possible. To block his Nexus from going up. And so you'll see me attack the probe and just try to stall it out. Your CC goes down at 17 supply right after the Reaper. And then you make a reactor. So just like a normal, it's just a completely normal Reaper expand. Depot on 18 supply. you go ahead, check with the Reaper over here. I saw one gas, so I mean the only thing it could really do is a 1 gate expand. Your next two barracks, your next two barracks go down. I'm sorry, I'm bad at this because I haven't made a video in a while. So this first guy that you took out of gas, you took out at 52 gas. Okay, and then you have only 2 guys mining gas, and then the guy that brings in 34 gas, you take him off gas too, so you only have 1 guy on gas for a while. So at 52 gas, you take a guy off of gas and you make your Reaper. And then once you get back up to 34 gas, you take a guy off gas and you leave it with just one guy on until about 4 minutes. I did the timings on this specific build just a little bit weird because I left 1 guy in gas too long. But that's the correct order for doing it. So it will be 52 gas, take a guy off. 34 gas, take a guy off. When you build your supply depot on 18 supply, right after you build that supply depot, you just re-add 2 guys to gas. And then the next thing is you add 2 more barracks, both at 19 supply.
Base is under attack.
And you'll see me just harassing, kind of running around with the Reaper. Okay, so
add-on complete.
And I accidentally just made another SCV, but normally you do them both on 19 supply. That's how it should be. Some games I'm not really paying attention, and I don't quite do it right. And then from here, you're just gonna make constant Marines and Marauders. You stay on 1 gas, you drop your mules, you call down your mules. Around 5 minutes, 5:10 is when I want to get a scout off in his base because that's right around when they would put some tech down. So you'll see me here with this Reaper I probably get ready to go into scout. But at home, just making, so your first barracks you make a tech lab on, and then this barracks is going to make 1 Marine, and then it's going to make a tech lab. This barracks is only going to be making Marines just the whole time. And other than that, just like constant SCV production and supply depots. I usually use the guy that builds the 3rd barracks. As soon as he's done building the 3rd barracks, I make a supply depot with that guy. And then that SCV can just make constant supply depots.
Add-on complete.
Aside from anything else though, it's just so this makes a tech lab right away. You research Stim, make Marines, 1 Marine out of here, and then you make a tech lab. And I like to stand over here with my Marines because anything coming up the ramp, I can attack. I don't need to be worried about an Oracle. So after this 1 Marine came out of here, I made a tech lab on here. So now that I have a tech lab on both barracks, we're going to be getting combat shields on this tech lab and be making Marauders out of both of these and Marines out of this one. Along with just a supply depot every single time and a constant SCV production, of course, obviously. You want to start your Marauder production both at the same time, so like combat shields is going to get researched. And then we'll start both Marauders roughly about the same exact time. And the timing is going to hit when you have 4 Marauders out, and you should have roughly, you should have exactly 4 Marauders and like 16 to 18 Marines. At some point around, when you're in the 40 supply range, you need to throw in just an extra depot. So normally you just have like 1 guy making a depot every single time. Once you get around 40 supply and you got the money for it with constant production, once you get a second where you got a little bit of money, you just use 1 SCV to throw down an extra depot along with the one that you keep always building. And you'll see me just throw down an extra one somewhere. So got Marauders coming out, so Stim and combat shields, they're both lined up pretty well to finish with how you do this, so they'll be both finishing right as about your units get right here. The next timing to remember is 7:25. You add 2 gas geysers at 7:25. So you'll see it gets to 7:25, add a gas geyser, add a gas geyser. Alright, so now that I have Marauders out already, and I'm making, oh, apparently I'm making 2 more. Wow, I did this a little weird this game. I shouldn't be using this replay. I'm making an extra Marauder. Normally you just make 4. Okay, so after you make your 4 Marauders, when your 3rd and 4th Marauder get over to the rest of your army, as soon as they get there, that's when it's time to push across the map and attack. After that, you're gonna make a round of Marines out of your barracks so that you have enough gas to build a factory. So you'll see me, now that I've made all my Marauders, I'm gonna make 1 round of Marines out of all the barracks, then make a factory, and then you can go back to making Marauders again. So the factory goes down, we have our round of Marines right here, and our attack pushes out because all 4 of our Marauders got here, and this happens roughly around 8 minutes. And you can see Stim and combat shields are right about to finish. I have a ton of units. He saw this with an observer, he knows it's coming, so you know he's making an immortal. He's got some sentries out pretty early. He made 3 zealots, a stalker, another stalker. He's got his mothership core. And at home, you make an eBay at some point after your factory. At home, you're just doing constant Marauder production. You want to put your starport down as soon as your factory finishes, and then when you have enough money, you want to build a command center. But other than that, you just do the Stim attack, and this Stim timing attack is so ridiculously strong. I win tons of games just like right off your Stim attack runs up, kills a bunch of stuff, runs up into the main, picks off a pylon, kills a bunch of probes, and then you just follow up with any amount of units and you win. Minigun's a better player than most of the other players that I play though, so he doesn't die to it, but it still ends up trading well, and because he doesn't die to it, I'll get to show you guys the follow-up for what you do after the Stim timing attack. So you can see the units lost tab. And hang on, something really important here. In fact, I'll go to my vision. Your factory finishes during the attack, which means during this attack, you have to throw your starport down. So I throw my starports down usually perfectly on time. I'll keep checking the factory to make sure it's time to go. So I'm just gonna show you how much I prioritize getting the starport down. I'm gonna look away from the battle just to put the starport down, because your follow-up to the attack is just as important as the attack itself. So my factory finished. I'm gonna target fire this, and then I should oh, I was looking at his vision, I'm sorry. Looking at his vision. Let me look at mine. I haven't made a video in a while. See? Boom. I accidentally made a missile turret at first. But so you really want to be conscious about doing that during the attack. Like as your attack is happening, you gotta keep saying in your head, I have to build my starport, I have to build my starport, I have to build my starport. Because you don't need to micro these units that much. You can mostly just stim an A move, maybe do some stutter step. But you need to keep thinking, okay, my starport, okay, boom, time to build my starport, and then get it down. Okay, so after you got your starport down, you know, you made the reactor on your factory, you're building units nonstop. As soon as you get the money for it, you want to go build a 3rd. That's usually somewhere between early 9 minutes or late 9 minutes is when you build your 3rd base. And after you get your 3rd base, you're going to put down 2 more barracks, and then after those 2 barracks, you're going to get a gas geyser. I do get +1 on here, and you can just get +1 on your eBay after your attack is done. That's when you can get it. Because with the follow-up, you don't really need a whole lot of upgrades, so you usually only get +1 weapons or +2 weapons. In this particular case, because I killed the mothership core, I push across again with units. Just to sort of test him and see what he has. And, you know, if there's nothing there, you can keep it going on with the attack. And if he's got enough stuff, it's not a big deal because you can just stim and run away. So I come up here, I see a Colossi. Okay, just going to run away, I got my 3rd build in. So after so you build your 3rd, you add on 2 more barracks, you add on your 4th gas, and then after your 3rd, you have your medevac production. After your 3rd and 4th medevac are building, you can see, I think I already have them queued up. That's when you have enough gas, you add down another starport. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build 4 medevacs, and then I'm going to try to get as many Vikings as possible out that I can, and I'm going to go for a SCV pull timing, because that's just what's really strong right now. You don't need to do something like this You can do something like this if you have the APM for it, but it's really not necessary at all. It was just me sort of like testing him and seeing kind of what he had around. It's usually much safer to just leave all your units at home, but we were pretty even in economy and stuff, so I wanted to try to get some damage in. But I wasn't able to because he had units in position, so I just ran away with this stuff. Just sort of poking. And so after 4 medevacs, you just want to build as many Vikings as you can, and then you usually push... this is always the follow-up that I do to this build. You usually push when you have like 8+ Vikings. That's when it's time to pull the SCVs and push. Most players should die pretty hard to the Stim timing, but again, this is just like what to do if the Stim timing doesn't work. You want to follow up with an SCV pull timing. And if he doesn't go for Colossi, then you just want to follow up with, instead of building another starport, you build a reactor on the factory and go for Widow Mines. Okay, so you can see I got my 8 Vikings here. I got more Vikings in the mail on the way, so it's time to pull all my SCVs. I only have attack upgrade on my bio. I didn't even get the armor attack upgrade, because that's really all you need for like an SCV pull like this. And so I had like pretty good macro and like maxed out pretty quick, despite all the, like, not maxed out, but got up in supply pretty quick, despite a little bit of the trading that went on earlier. And now I'm just gonna try to take a good engagement into him. He does already have Templar out. I have really good splits though, so I usually just split against Templar. I don't even build Ghost. He force fielded this whole thing off, so he's delaying this attack a lot, but it's still gonna be enough to kill him. And he's got Templar too. He's got a whole bunch of Templar. And you pull all the SCVs from your natural and your third, and you just leave guys in the main. And I mean, if you're playing on NA, you're not going to play any Protoss really better than minigun, so this should work against like literally everybody you play versus. And you can see, like, even with him defending against the attack well, it didn't do any damage to economy. He got his third base up at the exact same time as mine. The SCV pull is just really, really, really strong right now. I'll try to find one more replay where, like, you just sort of outright win with the attack, just so you can see, like, how strong the attack really is. Oh, my dog's barking at me. He wants to go out. I gotta find a replay, puppy. Yeah, I'll show this replay. Part of the reason why I like this build so much also is because this build, this like 3 racks build where you're getting these Marauders, it holds off basically any all-in because you just have so many units. I'm pretty sure I get all-in really hard this game, but this holds off like blink timings. This holds off immortal busts or something, or just gateway attacks, or basically anything. It's just a little tricky with if someone goes for super early Oracle, like where you scout their base and they have 2 gases already and not building a natural. That's usually when you want to build an eBay, so you can get some turrets first.
Upgrade complete. Additional supply.
So you'll see, so I did the same exact thing. I went for 2 barracks on 19, took the guys out of gas at 26 and 34, or I mean 52 and 34, put guys back in gas after you build your second depot, put your 2 barracks down on 19 supply, scouted his proxy. He's being really aggressive with his units. This kind of in control just does stuff like that a lot. It's not afraid to take risks. You get your Stim and combat shields, and then after you get Stim and combat shields, it's time to start up Marauders. Get your marine production. And you'll see in this game, in control's going for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gate. So he's going for a 5 gate, and this build holds it off pretty well. In fact, I don't even have a bunker. And I see all his units. Like, see, part of why this holds off attack so good is because like a 5 gate like this, or gateway attack, or a blink stalker timing comes to your base the same time you push out. So it's like they're coming up to your base, and you just push them all the way back to their base with all your units you have. And so I'm like up a ton in supply and stuff because I already picked off a couple units. Things get a little scary for a second because my units are over here and his come up to start attacking me. But I just return home. I have to pull some SCVs, I think. Yeah, I actually got a really bad positioning on there. But you're able to hold because you have Stim and combat shield so early and such a big Marauder count. Like if I wasn't out of position, if I was just standing up here on my ramp instead of coming from over here and getting force fielded, I probably could have just won that fight. But even so, I still end up being able to hold. And then yeah, so we have our third gas. I added some barracks down a little bit earlier now just in case I was kept getting all in. But you know, so we take our gas then and add a third CC at some point, and I just kind of counterattack him and win because I'm up in supply a lot. So if you're struggling in TvP, like there's so many reasons why I recommend using this build. You'll kill a lot of stuff, you'll kill a lot of greedy stuff, you'll kill people that don't know how to defend, and you will you'll be able to hold a bunch of attacks. This is 9 Pylon. 9 Pylon is actually the Smurf account of Trace, who I think he's top 16 on NA right now. I know he ladders, I think, EU too. But so this is another one of like the best Protoss players on North American server. And I'll just show you this last game versus him.
Additional supply depots required.
Looks like I forgot to scout this game actually. I do that a lot when I'm talking. I kind of forget to send a scout out. So 17 command center, then reactor, then a SCV, then a depot. Okay, the depot builds, so we put guys in gas. Okay, 19 supply, 1 barracks, and then you rally the next SCV out to build your next barracks. That's what I usually do. I went for 20 barracks again. You should do 19 barracks. Scout with the Reaper. Build your Marines, build your add-ons when you're supposed to. You guys shouldn't have the build down by now. I feel like I've repeated it a lot, so I'm actually just going to fast forward to like when the attack happens so you can see how it goes. And I've done this build to Trace here specifically. I've done this build to him a lot of times. So it's not like he's like getting surprised by it. It's not like he doesn't know it's coming. I've done this to him like several times and it still works just because it's really, really strong. Put the factory down, we double gassed, we took our other gases at 25. Push across when we have our 4 Marauders out. And I mean, just look how early we get here. So this is almost 60 Marines, 4 Marauders, with Stim and combat shields at 8:30 at his base. So I run in, he's got a bunch of stuff, but I kill it anyways. Back at home, you know, the factory just finished, so you'll see me put a starport down. I'll go to my vision. See, put a starport down immediately. And look, I'm putting a starport down at home. I've got all these units at home. I have enough money to build my expand at home, and I already won the game with my attack. I killed all his units cost effectively. I picked off the pylon powering his production structures, and now I'm gonna kill some probes in economy too. So I'm like super far ahead and in a great position. And then you just gotta follow up with anything. Like I'm literally probably just gonna walk across the map with this bio without even having medevacs out yet because I killed so much. that you're just in such a lead, you just do anything, and boom. So, hope that I explained it halfway decently. I haven't made a video in a while, so I'm a little like rocky on it, but I hope you understood it and that I made the points clear. If you have any questions or comments or whatever, you can ask in the comment section. I hope you win a lot of games with this build. It's really, really good. Something I would say when doing this build is this is a build, I had to practice it a lot before I got it to work really well, because putting, like, when you're attacking with your units, it's really easy to get tunnel vision and just focus on the attack and try to micro it really well, and then you go home and you're floating 800 minerals and you forgot to put your starport down. If you do that, and you're like in Master League, like chances are you're gonna lose, unless you win outright with the attack. So something you want to be really conscious of, and what's gonna make the difference between doing a really strong timing or doing a really strong timing with a really strong follow-up, is you gotta go in your head the whole time that you're attacking. Okay, make 2 Marauders, make 2 Marines, make 2 Marauders, make 2 Marines. Okay, my factory's done, make a reactor on the factory, make a starport. As long as you can hit all those like benchmarks and timings and make sure you can get that right, you should just steamroll kids with this build, because it's like, oh, it's just so obnoxious to deal with as a pro DOS. So, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. You can, like, I don't know, like the video or whatever, leave a comment. Peace out.